Aloha and welcome to Author Talk. I'm Lori Yerksa coming at you from the big island of Hawaii, and I'm thrilled about my guest today, Micheleanne, author of Been There, Done That, Wrote This. If you can hold the book up. Yes, I love the red cover, the bold white font. And tell us where you can get your book.
You can get it on Amazon, Kindle, anywhere that you can buy books online. Barnes
Okay,
and Noble,
wonderful,
all of
perfect. So it's easy to find. And welcome, Michelle. Glad to have you here today.
them. Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Yes, and like I loved your book, reading your book. And like I had said, I feel like we would be friends, if we lived in the same
Yeah.
neighborhood for sure. But let's start off by you telling us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So a little bit about me. I am currently a theta healer is what I do. Like the journey of my life has brought me to where I am today. Um, which is about, I look at subconscious patterns and then I help people clear them. So, what my life has taught me is that we have much more power and control over our lives than we've ever been taught or led to believe. And so, I love practicing meditation and learning about who I am, where my power lies. And I work with clients now. I'm a theta healer certification. I have the basic DNA, advanced DNA, manifesting in abundance, and dig deeper, which helps me reach into the subconscious,
Mm-hmm.
find out what those little limiting beliefs are that
Mm-hmm.
you might be hanging on to,
Mm-hmm.
and I clear them on an energetic level. And it's really amazing the changes that I see in myself
Mm-hmm.
and that I see in other people, the clients that I have. It's so amazing. Like, it's like when you don't like something that you're looking at on the outside, when
Mm-hmm.
you do the change on the inside, it's miraculous
Mm-hmm.
how it mirrors to the outside world, and you literally change your reality by changing yourself. It's
Yes.
phenomenal.
Yes, I'm 100% agreement with that. So it sounds like today you are what somebody might call an energy healer or an energy
Yes.
intuitive. So what got you in that? You grew up with an illness that kind of went undiagnosed for a long time.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Well, to talk about like the limiting beliefs, like when I was born,
Mm-hmm.
I was put in an incubator for 9 days. My lungs weren't developed, and I was blue, the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, tied in a knot. And so your subconscious is learning, okay, being sick is getting me fed. Being sick is keeping me safe.
Mm,
Being sick is getting me everything I need to survive.
yes.
So fast forward down the road, all those subconscious patterns just kept repeating themselves. So throughout school, I dealt with bullies and other challenges that just came up and kept manifesting in my
Mm-hmm.
life. I had allergies, illness. Like I never had colds or flus, but every weird thing that didn't happen to anybody else happened to me. So by the time I was 13, I had developed multiple sclerosis, right? But I didn't find out about it until I was actually 26 while I was climbing the corporate ladder and thought all was well with the world. And I fell off a ladder and then I couldn't walk, which I just kind of attributed to the back injury that I received.
Mm-hmm.
And then realized, I went blind from the stress of wanting to get back to work. And I'm like, okay, this isn't good. Excuse me. So by the end of the week, I was diagnosed with MS for real this time, and
Mm-hmm.
told
Mm-hmm.
put on this medication. I'm like, what? And it was about 9 months later. My whole world changed. I was home. I was off work on long-term disability. I was in bed, and my life consisted of going to bed to going to the couch, bed, couch. You know, and I mean, that's just no way to live. And I
Yeah.
didn't realize the power that I had to change that. So
Mm-hmm.
one day I literally got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And
Yes.
I decided I'm like, no, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. I'm not done yet,
Mm-hmm.
the doctors had told me that I'd be in a wheelchair at the age of 30. And I was like, no, that's not cool. I don't want that.
Yeah.
And so I started learning about energy healing. I studied Reiki and just everything that I could wrap my brain around. I've always been interested in medical, probably because being ill, and my father worked for a medical company too, so I would read all the brochures in his office and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
just educated myself with everything medical that I could find.
Yeah.
And
But
you know,
before that, kind of before you were officially diagnosed with MS, with multiple sclerosis, and but having a lot of the symptoms and being undiagnosed, but in the mindset that you had developed of unworthiness and different things. But just so talk a little bit. In school there were some bad decisions. What was like kind of one
yeah.
of the things that happened with people that you thought were your friends?
People that I thought were my friends were the very people who were stabbing me in the back,
Yeah.
and it can be really, really painful when, these people that you've grown up with, these people that you've trusted, and they don't realize. It's like there's the struggle within, because you don't even know you're struggling. Like when you don't know what you don't know, right? So I thought everybody felt the way that I felt.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so to me, it was, I am who I am, and I figured everybody felt the same way. So I never complained about the things that were wrong, but then I would see people treating me funny because I would be the one that would trip and fall. So I became the comic relief, right?
Yeah.
I would have pain, like I couldn't do things that other people would do, like something. My balance was always crazy, so people thought I was drunk all the time. I remember I had a neighbor ask me one time, I was going to drive my car. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning, just going out somewhere, and she's like, "You're not driving in that condition, are you?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, you look like you had a few." And it was just, my balance being what it was. So yeah, and then people treated me different. Um, and it was almost like I was being bullied all the time, and I didn't know why I was being bullied, you know? And when I look at it now, I've realized that I was probably emanating, hey, attack me. I can take it. I can take it. I don't know if it thought maybe it made me strong. Yes, that's it. I thought, it makes me stronger. It makes me stronger. Until I finally realized, hey, I can be strong without needing to prove my strength to other people.
Yes.
And that changed everything.
Yes.
Once I got rid of that belief that I'm a victim and that everything happens to me, and realizing, wait, no, my power, I can change how I feel about things. The only things we control are our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, right?
Yes.
So I chose, like, okay, if I didn't like a certain something, I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to go find something that I do like, and I'm going to focus on that instead, and ignore the bad stuff, right? And not to sound, like, oh, it just goes away, but it kind of does.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the momentum that builds up when you're feeling good. The better you feel, the better you feel, and the better you
Yes.
feel, the better you feel.
Yes.
And again, it can go the other way too when you're on that downward spiral, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The
And
trick is,
I love the scene though where you kind of come into your power. If I remember correctly, it was at school because I think the teacher met you out in the hall or something and said, "Yeah, way to go, girl," or
yeah,
that.
yeah. I
Yeah.
remember that. That was I called up these girls from my class, and I said, yeah, do you want to go play? And they were like, yeah, sure. So I'm like, I go get ready. Then the phone rang. They like, well, no, we actually don't like you, so no. So, and it just broke my heart. And my
Yeah.
parents saw me crying, and they're like, what happened? What happened? So anyway, I think my parents called them back, because then next thing I know, they called me and got me to go over. And I'm like, I always saw that as a failure until I realized, no, I chose what I wanted to do. I went over there. I did everything I wanted to do. I ran the show. I didn't listen to what they wanted to do, and had a great time. And the
Yes.
following week in school, I remember I was going to sharpen my pencil, and the pencil sharpener was up on the teacher's desk. And so I walked by the desk, and they were like, "Ew, Michelle's germs," like, one of those juvenile things that people do, right?
Cooties.
Yeah. And it was the weirdest thing, but like this feeling rose up inside me. And it was like my first like serious outburst in my life. Like I literally picked up the desk and I dumped it on the girl. And like the three of them were laying on the ground with books all over them. And everyone's like, because I disturbed the whole class. And the teacher's like, "Michelle, mudroom now." Like, and everyone's like, "Ooh," like, "Oh, she's in trouble," right? And we get out to the mudroom. She's like, "I have never been so proud of you." She's like, "Now go back in there and act like I gave you crap." Okay.
That's awesome. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that.
we're friends to this day.
Oh, right on. What a great
Yeah.
teacher. And
Yeah.
I mean, so luckily you found your power still young and at school before something really bad happened. I mean, your
Yeah.
rage had built up enough to where you dumped the desk and had a big outburst. So
No.
put those girls in their place.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
another thing that I liked about your story was the fact that you came to be okay with not with like being misdiagnosed or missing the diagnosis
Yeah.
for so
Yeah.
many years, because then you didn't get caught up in, oh, I have MS. You just
Exactly.
went and lived. So talk a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, because when I think it was grade 8, and oddly enough, that was like one of the worst years of my life, too. So when they say about stress and autoimmune stuff, they're not kidding. So I remember it was grade 8, and I went blind in one eye. I couldn't feel the skin on my legs, numbness, and like just all this weird stuff. And was can you remind me the question again?
Well, you just had all those years of not like knowing officially that you had MS, and you appreciated that because you kept
Right.
just living and striving rather than
Right.
shrinking into MS world.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Because I figured if I'm feeling this, I didn't realize that there was anything different about me than there was anyone else. So when I was getting these little tingling sensations, I thought everybody got those tingling sensations.
Okay. Yeah.
When I lost my balance, even though people made fun of me, I thought, this has to happen to everybody. Or, if my hands went numb, if I couldn't feel them, I'm like, well, it wasn't painful, so why say anything, right? It didn't bother me. Just all these weird sensations. And I came to realize that if I had known about the diagnosis, I probably would not have applied myself in school. I would not have gone to college getting degrees. I would not have strived to climb the corporate ladder and even get married. And I mean, my husband is the love of my the love of my life. He was literally the boy next door. Like, we grew up down the street from me. He was a little guy that he used to pee in my sandbox and put worms in my pool in the summer. I ended up marrying him. But yeah, like I would not have pursued the life that I did. So by the time that I fell off that ladder and, got the official diagnosis, I had already attained a level of success. I was the office manager for a large box store in the area. And, there was 100 and I think at the time 144 people that I was responsible for their payroll and their, stuff like that. And like all the money and all the inventory that came in the store, which is why I guess I stressed out so bad when I was off work with the back injury, trying to get back to work to, because the inventory was what my report card was based on.
Yes.
And so that's when I lost sight in my left eye again. And I was like,
Mhm.
I seem to remember them making a big deal about this when I was 13. and, and then got the diagnosis by the end of that week. And yeah, then going back to this, and I didn't know how to handle it at work too, because I knew there was something going wrong. And it was like manifesting in like ways of anxiety. And I'm seeing now that it was anxiety because I didn't know how to control what was happening to me, because I had no idea what was happening to me.
Okay.
I just
Yeah.
saw that nobody else was suffering,
Right.
for
Yes.
lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, why is it I get up from my desk and all of a sudden I can't walk for 10 minutes? That
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. Like nobody else is doing
Right.
that.
Yeah. With the
Oh,
symptoms, but during those years when were being successful in the workplace, there were, I think you called them divine interventions along the way, like the health insurance and different things
yeah,
that you needed. So speak a little bit
yeah.
about kind of divine interventions along the way.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Yeah, the divine interventions are fantastic. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's always in hindsight that you see them, unless you're open to seeing them as you come, which you learn to once you
Yes.
realize things are really always working out for you.
Yes.
So when I was 13, for some reason, unbeknownst to me, my father took out a life insurance policy on me and he actually signed this waiver of disability. Who knows why he did that? But because of him doing that, I can now buy life insurance, which I wouldn't be able to because of this diagnosis,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was no pre-existing condition because nobody ever officially diagnosed me on paper.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to get life insurance. I was able to get the critical illness insurance. I was able to do all the things that people who are labeled with a pre-existing condition
Mm-hmm.
can't do. So it was just like I was so cared for throughout my life. I can
Yeah,
easily
that's
look
amazing.
back and see.
I love that. I love all the little divine interventions peppered in there, and the fact that you
Mm,
were able to see them, afterwards. You could, in hindsight.
yeah,
So
yeah.
now you've been diagnosed. You're 26 now. You're at home, couch to bed, bed to couch, all that, trying different things, and ultimately failing, I guess.
Yeah,
Um, and then you found a something that really helped you, a modality, a healing modality,
yeah,
kind of the
yeah,
Reiki and the energy work. I know you've been talking about that um, all
yeah.
along, but let me just say this real quick before we get into that. You have some really great descriptors in your book. I really enjoyed the way that you explain things, and early on with the muscles tingling in your body after working out.
Yeah.
Um, I learned a new term, the MS hug. It wasn't the burning from
Yes.
lactic acid, but what you said was, it was like pouring ginger ale in your muscles, and I thought, what a great word picture for
Yeah,
somebody to actually understand what it's like,
yeah.
because you can kind of. So I love that all throughout, your great descriptors and
Thank you.
your little bit of sass in
Yeah,
in writing the
I'm much
book.
better on paper with my words than I am speaking.
I think maybe we all are. So you you're done being depressed over the 2 year period. You finally kind of find a new way of thinking, of processing and healing. It
Yeah,
started out with Reiki. So
yeah.
so tell us how all of that changed your life,
Okay.
and how it got you where you are today.
Okay. So I began practicing. Well, at first I had to learn about it.
Just lost your audio. Shoot.
Connection okay?
Yes, there we go. We had a little blip, but
Uh,
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Checking. Okay. So, um,
You were just talking about Reiki and how you came to be with that, and
right.
yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay. So I ran into a few, actually, I met Charlene, a girl at my hairdresser's, and she was talking about it. So the more she talked about it, the more I kind of became intrigued by it. And so then I do my own research and I did the reading and I liked what I read, but I didn't know if it was possible. So I thought, well, why not learn how to do it and practice it on myself? What better
Mm-hmm.
way?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. And I practiced on myself every day, every day, every day,
Mm-hmm.
every day. And I just kind of, it didn't happen overnight, but
So, what do you
I was getting,
mean when you say practiced on yourself? What did you do?
I would do, in Reiki, there's certain hand positions that
Mm-hmm.
you do, right? So I would do like the hand positions and I would give myself full Reiki treatments
Okay.
on a daily basis,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I just kind of felt like my connection to source
Mm-hmm.
was expanding through doing this, right? It was
Mm-hmm.
really interesting. Like I started meditating and I could see like lights and stuff, and it was all coming from within me, not from
Mm-hmm.
the outside, but it was
Mm-hmm.
all within me. And it was just like this whole magic show that, creator of all that is,
Mm-hmm.
who is part of each and every one of us. And it really woke me up to my divine connection. And then I took theta healing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when everything changed right there. And I don't think that part is in the book. Actually, no, I wrote the book the year I took the theta course. But I remember walking in because I still had my canes. I had 3 canes on the go, and I remember I even had a walker at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Now you would never know it. I can go walking around the block. Nobody would ever know, right? It's
Yeah.
really quite amazing. So I walked into a theta healing class and nobody knew me. So I knew this was my chance to start over. So I left my cane in my car
Mm-hmm.
and went down the stairs and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get back up, but oh well. Right. And it was the first time I did anything for 8 hours in a day because the fatigue was always just too much for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know how I was going to do it, but it was like, I'm going to do it. Teacher says, all right, we're going to start off with the dance. And I'm like, oh crap. Because I'm thinking, and then I realized, whoa, this is a moment right here. Like either I can say I can't dance, I have MS, or I can stand up and just kind of move
Mm-hmm.
along.
So was
And
that was a little aha moment for you?
yeah,
Yes.
huge aha
Mm-hmm.
moment.
To shift your
And I got to tell
perspective.
you,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
massive.
Mm-hmm.
And I expected to be spending the following week recovering from my taking that course, right?
Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh. So here we are the following Monday afterwards, right? I'm expecting to be in bed recovering, and I'm on my third load of laundry by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which is in the basement. I used to have to get my husband to take stuff up and down the stairs for me. I took it up and down the stairs. I'm at the washing machine, and I realized what I've just done, and I'm like, the first time that I can remember, my legs were not on fire. Like that, feel the burn, like when you've
Mm-hmm.
done 100 squats at the
Mm-hmm.
gym, my legs burned like that every day of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first time they weren't burning.
Wow.
I was like, oh my gosh, I just got so excited. And so I've
Mm-hmm.
just been growing and growing and growing. And now I'm like, okay, how can I help other people?
Yeah.
Right?
So you believe, because it's happened to you personally, that by shifting mindsets and letting go of limiting beliefs, first of all you have to figure out what they are. Um,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that your body can actually change physically.
Yes, we can heal ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Just through the power of our minds and
Yes.
different kind of techniques
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
with that. And
It's
so
amazing.
you do you feel like you still have MS? I don't want to put that out there, but
Yeah. Well, my neurologist is a little bit shocked. He says, I don't know what you're doing, but just carry on and keep doing what you're doing because I'm marked as stable. They send me for an MRI every 6 months to see if anything's changed. I've been stable for, I think, well, since like that was in 2017. So since 2017, I've been stable. So I mean, I do still have limitations. Like I have some weakness and some balance issues and some things like I'm not, and the fatigue and stuff. So like it's not perfect,
Sure.
but I'm never going to beat myself up about it because I'm not in a wheelchair.
Yes.
I
Amen.
can walk around. Exactly, right?
Yeah.
I can walk around the block and I do have a great quality of life.
Right on. So what
So
is we kind of need to wrap up. So what is what do you want people to get out of this? What is the last thing you would like to say to people? Like why did you write
I
your book?
would like, I wrote this book because I knew that I had a lot of issues that most people don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Yet I heard many people complaining about the issues that they were facing.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing what I learned, I wanted to help people see that they can overcome whatever challenges they're facing. Challenges are just a way of learning a lesson. And once you
Yes.
learn it, you don't have to learn it again. You know, it's things are always working out for us. And when you know that,
Mm-hmm.
when troubles come, you're able to see opportunities rather than problems. So
Yes.
you don't have something that needs to be fixed. You have a lesson that you're going to learn, and it's exciting and it's fun. And oh my goodness, because you're going to come out better than you were before going in this if you allow it.
Yes, that's all, and that's the best place to end right there if you allow it. So, um, just start paying attention, to your life, to your surroundings, to your decisions, and find
Yes.
find patterns and stuff. Okay, so hold your book up one more time. Been there, done that, wrote this. Available on Amazon and lots of other places. It's very well written. If you know of anybody that has a disease you can't see, Micheleanne just really does a great job of explaining what they're going through and how that feels, and then towards the end of the book, how changing mindsets and working with your body can help
Change your
a
life.
lot, can change your life. It really can. So go get that. Thank you for watching Author Talk today. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. But Michelle, you stick around.